Hi, my name is Marianne Oram. I'm an MBA student at Southern Utah University, and today I will be presenting a summary of the Harvard Business Review article by Jeremy Hope and Robin Fraser, entitled, "Who Needs Budgets?" The authors of this article start strong by stating that budgeting, as used by most corporations, is a process that should be abolished. The budgeting processes started in the 1920s as a tool for industrial organizations who were mass-producing consumer goods in an assembly line process. Companies such as General Motors, DuPont, and Siemens used budgeting to manage costs and manage cash flows. By the 1960s, the use of budgets had emerged into more of a performance contract. Companies began using budgets, not just to keep score, but to dictate the actions of individuals at all levels of the company. Through the next few decades, managers began to drive performance improvement by relying on financial targets and incentives, instead of utilizing benchmarks such as productivity and marketing effectiveness. One may question, what is wrong with this system of budgeting that was designed to help managers plan and hold employees accountable? Some disadvantages of budgeting discussed in the article include the fact that budgets are unnecessarily time-consuming and expensive. A manager can use up to 30% of his time creating, managing, and reporting on budgets. Hope and Fraser argue that the practice of budgeting is an outdated process that is flawed, and that corporations today can do much better. But what would a better option be? The article explains that companies should adopt longer-term goals which are based on the measurement of key performance indicators such as profits, cash flows, cost ratios, customer satisfaction, and quality, instead of using fixed annual budgets whose forecast periods continually to grow shorter and shorter as it nears the end of each budget year. The article suggests considering 5 specific advantages of using relative performance contracts in the form of rolling forecasts of periods from 5 to 8 quarters, rather than the fixed performance contracts offered by traditional annual budgeting. The first of these comparisons explains that fixed targets leads only to incremental improvements, while relative targets push employees to outdo themselves. Hope and Fraser believe that having fixed targets breeds fear of consequences for not meeting those targets. Undesired or even unethical behavior can occur, such as ordering unneeded goods or pushing off deliveries to delay valuable cash flows in order to closely match those fixed budgets. The article also includes facts about 2 companies who have successfully embraced the new rolling forecast approach. One such company, a Swedish banking company, since abandoning budgeting in the 1970s, has gone from financially struggling to outperforming its competition on almost every financial ratio measurement. The banking company also has incredibly high customer satisfaction and is rated as one of the world's most cost-effective banks. Clearly, abandoning fixed targets with traditional budgeting has inspired these employees to outdo themselves. The second comparison of the fixed versus relative performance contracts states that fixed incentives instill fear of failure, while rewards-based incentives on the relative performance gives employees confidence to take risks. A fear of failure may cause dishonest actions by employees in an effort to reach set targets. Examples of companies which held rigid demands of budgetary compliance which proved to be entirely destructive included WorldCom, Enron, and Barings Bank. The third key difference between fixed and relative performance contracts is that budget's rigid plans focus its people on compliance, whereas the method of continuous planning helps people focus on value creation for the company. The fourth advantage of using the relative performance contract is that fixed contracts' preset allocation of resources encourages hoarding, while the on-demand allocation of resources minimizes costs. The fifth and final advantage, and one of the key points of the article, is that fixed performance contracts support centralized decision-making which ignores market feedback, while relative performance contracts allow decision-making to be made by local units who are in touch with one another, making full use of market feedback. In conclusion, the article shows how the innovative use of technology and programs available to businesses today makes information sharing a much more realistic possibility. The idea of decentralization and using key performance indicators in a rolling forecast method will help employees at all levels engage in value creation. Hope and Fraser feel strongly that businesses today need to abolish the old system of budgeting and its constraints and step into the future. Thank you for your time.